Welcome to the channel. This is a bit of a build update on the B17G variant. First real problems I've had since starting the kit, and it's putting the two fuselage halves together. Apologies for the mess on the table. I'm really struggling with this at the moment, so this is sort of like a build update stroke call out for any advice that anyone could offer. So basically the situation is this: all through building the interior, I kept checking the fuselage halves came together okay, because obviously I'm gluing one side in and they've got to match the lugs on this side when the two halves go together, and everything went fine. Now for some reason I'd done the last section, which is back here incidentally, and I came to fit the fuselage halves together proper, and what happened was I started off with a huge gap along here. So all this started about here to along here. There was a gap of maybe 2 or 3 mil, which was unacceptable. So I sanded away part of the mating surfaces in this area, and I managed to get it down to this. It won't go no further for some reason. No matter how much I try and sand it away, it's not getting any better, and I don't want to carry on down that road because there'll be nothing left of it. Everything else seems to be okay apart from this blinking glue's dreadful. I'll get more on that in a minute. So I've put the two halves together, and then I had this it won't knit together up here for some reason. So at first, as you can see, I've had clamps all the way around it. Now what tends to happen with the clamps is the best one for this here is this area, but because it's such a small surface, it just keeps springing off, and I'm sure a lot of you have come across these sort of clamps do as well. They just they just won't hold. So if anyone's got any advice, or is there something out there I need to get that can do a better job at this, to cut this clamping? At the moment I've got elastic bands, and I'm trying to hold it together as best I can. Obviously now it's going to need a lot more work into it, mainly thanks to Revels. I'm sure you can see on the top there, there is a huge mess, and that is because of this awful stuff here, which is Revels Contact to Liquid Special, which I thought I'd give a go. And basically I was going to brush it along put it in the small gap along the top, because I felt it was probably a bit more viscousy, a bit more thicker than the Tamiya thin, which wouldn't meet in the middle. There was too big a gap. So I pulled it out, and first of all it's on this huge brush, and it comes out this, I don't know if you can see that, but this gloopy, and the minute you touch it to anything, it's like it goes all stringy, and it's like these spider web type things start, and it's it's like ugh. And it was dreadful. The moment the brush touched the model, I knew I'd made a colossal mistake. So I then tried to rectify that straight away by using some cotton buds to try and mop up. In hindsight, I probably would have been better to leave it to dry, and then I probably could have got it off easier that way, but there you go. So the situation now is that I've got to wait for the main places that have bonded together, because there's going to be enough there for me to work with. I've got to let them settle, let them dry, cure, whatever, and then I'm going to have to get rid of these seam lines around the middle, and I'm not very good with getting rid of seam lines, especially not when it's in an important area that's going to be on display such as this. I can drop put a bit of Tamiya extra thin there to join that up and weld that together, and then I may be able to just foil over the top and gently rub that seam away there. Hopefully that's the plan. And probably, you know, use a bit of filler where possible, and do the same on the bottom. Sanding pad, just rub away the fine layer at the top until I can sort of get rid of the seam line, and go from there. That's my thoughts. Bear in mind I've only been modelling for 6 months. Sorry, a year. Where I get 6 months, a year. I've been modelling for a year now, but I've never had to do anything like this. I mean, the other thing that concerns me is we've got a great deal of detail in these lines on the fuselage. I've never done scribing before. I don't even have the tools to do scribing. I've got a knife that I can use, but it would be very crude. I really don't want to rub away all the panel lines, because it will look, yes, you won't have a seam line, but you'll have glaring nothingness where there should be panel lines meeting. So you see, the model that I was so impressed with, and still am to a degree, but it's all gone awry in a very short space of time, and so that's where I am. Not to mention that I'm a bit worn down with the modelling at the moment. You know, some people call it lost mojo, but I'm just a bit sort of down on it. I'll plough through though, I'll keep going, and I think maybe it's more frustration because I had high hopes for this model. I really wanted it to compete on a level with others. I sort of feel that that's slipping away from me a bit. I don't want it to be a model that comes out and looks like it's been made by somebody that's only been modelling a few weeks. Some of these people are far better modellers than I am. I know people that come along and say, "Oh, this is my first build," and you're like, "Wow, that is amazing." But in my eyes at the moment, it just looks a mess. Anyway, that's my problem. Sorry, it's sort of gone a bit miserable all of a sudden. Let's step it back up a gear. What else have we got coming? Well, we've got I am really actually looking forward to doing the USS Enterprise video build. I've never done a video build, so it's going to be a new thing for me. I'm not sure how I'm going to approach it. Obviously, I'm going to film everything I do, and then probably I'll put together the sections and the relevant bits that are probably a bit boring. I will speed up in like so it runs through quite fast. I'm not anticipating it being many steps. It depends how much modelling I can get done in any one period. How much my back and joint and that allow me. So we'll see how that goes. So we've got that coming up. We've still got the review on the X-Wing moving version. So we've got that coming up as well. I've got some other reviews on their way. I think I've done a review on T34 motorised version. I don't know if I put that up. I think I did put that up. I think it's the review on the USS Enterprise. I haven't put it up yet. It's done, but I haven't put it up yet. We'll see. Anyway, there we go. Thanks for subscribing. Keep subscribing. Click like. You know, all that jazz. And leave any comments you've got about this, the build, any tools I might need, where I can find them, any advice. I'm sure you all know far more than I do, and I could really do with some of that input now. That would be great. And bye for now.